Hello, Mordarim here. In today's video I want to show you my early Purifier build guide for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader that utilizes flamethrowers and melter guns to burn heretics to a crisp. You will get access to the flamethrowers very early in the game, making for an excellent tool to purge corrupted targets from their fleshy forms. Additional attacks, buffs to boost your big AoEs, and dashes to retreat behind cover are the core of your gameplay. Regular guns can be utilized very early on, but fall flat compared to the immense firepower of melting faces of our foes. The most notable feature of this build is its immense AoE capability. Regular targets like humans do not like fire, but Xenos and demons really get to feel the heat, with the perks enhancing the damage you deal to them. The more you progress throughout the game, the more you will notice the unholy wandering your planets and stations. We cannot have that. We need to purge the heretical ground with holy fire, for our blessed feet will crush the Xenos filth underneath them, and demons will scream in agony as we cleanse their very existence with nuclear power, for we are the blessed beings of humanity. With that in mind, let's go over the build. Your most important stat is going to be the ballistic skill, followed by agility. We also want to boost our strength with one singular point to access the 60 strength heavy weapon requirement through the application of the heavy weapon proficiency perk. Once we get to the second and third class, you will want to further concentrate on ballistic skill, followed by agility, and finally toughness to boost your health pool. Willpower will be kept at 50 for a WP bonus of +5. It is generally not worth it to boost it further after character creation. As for your skills, go for demolition and medicare. Your mobility will provide you with a great way to heal your allies in need or mend your own wounds through the use of medkits. You will also be able to utilize grenades to their utmost potential. Next, let's have a look at our Homeworld and Origin. We're going with the Fortress World and Ministrum Priest. The Fortress World will provide us with the Never Stop Shooting ability. The more kills we acquire during combat, the more stacks of Never Stop Shooting we acquire. At the start of our turn, we have a percentage chance that is equal to the stacks of Never Stop Shooting to not consume any action points for our first attack. It will also not count to the attack limit. This means at the baseline we have a 10% chance. After triggering this effect, we are consuming the stacks. The origin of the Ministrum Priest gives us the feature Warhammer, as well as a lot of willpower. Warhammer is something we want to use at the start of the combat. This makes sure that our momentum resource will refill as fast as possible. We can then turn that momentum into extra turns through other classes, as well as our own abilities. But most importantly, we are looking at Flensing Faith. Melee, flame and melter weapon attacks deal additional damage to demons and psychers as well as Xenos. This talent is incredible and will boost our damage versus those archetypes by a huge amount. Next, let's go over the abilities. Gun and Run is something we will get access to very early on. That's our first ability. After using this one, we replenish our MP, and the next attack we use costs 1 less AP and doesn't count towards the attack limit. However, at the next turn, we are getting penalized. We cannot use this ability again, and we are shooting less accurate. For our skill, like I already mentioned, pick Demolition. Then we get Revel and Slaughter. This one is a passive ability. The more enemies we kill in combat, the better we shoot, the more damage we deal, and the more critical strike chance we have. Our ultimate ability is Firearm Mastery. With our setup, we will be getting 2 additional attacks. Those do not spend any AP and do not end our turn. They also do not count towards the attack limit. For our first talent, we want to pick up Swift Slaughter. This will make the previously mentioned passive ability, Revel and Slaughter, trigger every 2 enemies, not every 3. Next, boost your ballistic skill, pick up Point Blank to enhance your area attacks. Again, ballistic skill, then pick up Concentrated Fire. For just 1 AP cost, we are going to boost the damage of our next ranged area attack by a huge amount. For example, the Flamethrower uses 2 AP for the area attack. With this one, we can basically increase the damage by 100% for just 1 AP, so it's an extra attack. Next, we're picking up Agility, grab the Flame Weapon Proficiency, which will now give us access to the Flamethrowers. This includes Flamethrowers, Heavy Flamer, and Hand Flamer. Next, we're going to pick up the talent Rack and Ruin. After damaging multiple enemies, 3 at a time, we deal more damage for the next attack during this combat. So after using 1 AoE ability, we can then use another one to increase the damage we deal. Then we pick up Demolition, Firearm Mastery 4, the 4th upgrade, so our AoE abilities will deal more damage while we are using our Firearm Mastery ultimate ability. Then we pick up Tenderize, again to boost our AoE damage, pick up Agility, and Entrench. Entrench is a special ability. If we are in a situation where we cannot use our abilities efficiently, cannot reach enemies or cannot fire at enemies, we can use Entrench to boost our defenses, and it stores our AP and MP. When we use Run and Gun next round, we restore all that AP and MP plus 1 AP and reset all our cooldowns. This means we reset Concentrated Fire. We can use this 2 times per turn. Keep that in mind, this also triggers for further abilities we gain through the next class, which includes Wildfire. Then we pick up Medicae, increase our strength just one singular time, otherwise you would pick Toughness in the next classes. Next up, pick Melta Weapon Proficiency. At this point you will be gaining access to Melta weapons. At first just regular ones. Later on you will find multi-Melta weapons, so 2-handed heavy weapons. Next pick up Second Skin. So our medium armor does not reduce our dodge chance. So we can equip medium armor with 45% equipment armor and we still get full benefits from our dodge. Then we pick up Heavy Weapon Proficiency to reduce the strength requirement of heavy weapons by 25%. A quick disclaimer here, not all heavy weapons benefit from this one. There are some exceptions, like for example the Heavy Bolter is currently probably bugged and it doesn't benefit from this. So it has a 60 strength requirement but does not get lowered by this one. But the heavy melter weapons do. Same with the heavy flamethrowers. Then we pick up Cleansing Faith. I know this one is a little bit late. However, we are around level 14. Before that we are mostly just fighting humans. Now we are entering the domain of demons, psychers and xenos. So this ability, this talent is now getting used much more often. So we are going to pick this one up now. Next finish up with Medicae and the third Fire Mastery upgrade. So our attacks are harder to dodge. For the second subclass we are going to pick up the Arch-Militant. We get the versatility feature. So for every attack we deal with a different archetype of weapon, meaning a single shot, melee attack, area shot, or burst shot, we get a stacking buff. This buff increases our weapon skill and ballistic skill by 5 every stack. If we stack ballistic skill above 100, we are getting crit chance. So with this one, at 4 stacks, we get 20 additional ballistic skill. And with 4 stacks, we are getting additional damage based on our BS, so ballistic skill. For the next ability, we pick up Wildfire. For every 4 stacks of versatility, this spell decreases the cost by 1. So this one gives us basically an additional attack every single round for the cost of 3, 2, 1 or 0 AP, depending on the versatility we currently have. Next we pick up Always Ready. This gives us 2 stacks of versatility right from the get-go. So 10 ballistic skill and we just need to do 2 more attacks to lower the cost of Wildfire. Next we get Steady Superiority, which is used to get access to another additional attack each turn, which doesn't cost any ability points, and every single turn after this one, the first attack does not cost any AP. So an incredibly strong ability. Remember, we are using mostly weapons that require 2 AP or more to shoot. With this one, we are lowering the AP cost and benefiting from the high damage of the weapon. At level 20 we get 1 additional AP and increase our ballistic points. Then we pick up Critical Versatility. For every single stack of versatility, we get additional crit damage. Then pick up Ballistic Skill and Reckless Rush. Reckless Rush is basically just an increase to our MP, so we can reposition after shooting our weapon. Then we pick up Overpower. So our heavy weapons now get an increased critical strike chance based on our ballistic skill, and the critical strike damage is also based on our ballistic skill increased. So if we have a bonus of 9 or a bonus of 8, this one gives us 8% crit strike chance and 3 times 8 additional crit damage. Then we are going to increase Demolition, pick up Heavy Gunner, so our heavy weapons get -1 action point requirement. Our multi-melter weapon now requires only 2 action points to shoot instead of 3. Then we pick up Agility and Breakpoint. Our heavy weapons deal flat damage additionally and ignore 2 deflection. Some targets have armor that is giving them flat damage reduction, for example 5. With this one we ignore 2. And we get Close Quarters Training. We can now use our range weapons, so our multi-weapon and our flamethrower in melee range. But we acquire a small penalty here. This finishes the core of this build, so your power is going to stabilize here. There's a few things you want to pick up later, which I will show you now, but your skills and your characteristics stay the same. Ballistics, agility, toughness, demolition, Medicae, All of those you want to pick up every single time you see it possible. For the first upgrade of the Steady Superiority, we're going to pick up the Steady Superiority Upgrade 4. This makes it possible to use both your Heroic Acts of your Warrior and your Arch-Militant at the same time. For the next talent, we want to pick up Dependable, giving us 2 additional armor for every stack of versatility. Next, we're going to pick up Familiar Kickback. At the end of our turn, after using our weapons, half the minimum damage of the most damaging ranged weapon we have used is going to add stacks to our Never Stop Shooting stacks. This means if you use the multi-melter weapon, you get 10 stacks for free. And for the last ability, you want to pick up Kick. Kick gives you the ability for free to push enemies back. This one counts as a single melee attack for the purposes of versatility. This attack cannot be parried, and it pushes the target back 2 cells. You're not going to deal much damage with this one. It prevents you from getting attacks of opportunity. For the next talents, we want to boost our damage. Contempt for the Weak gives us 20% more critical strike damage with stunned, prone, or blinded targets. Then we are going to pick up Dismantle to debuff enemies. So we're going to shred their armor with our ranged attacks. And for the last ability here, we want to pick up Emperor Protects. So we have a percentage chance, which is equal to +5, to ignore enemy attacks altogether. And then you're going to get into the Exemplar. For the Exemplar, you're going to get a lot of additional second or first tier archetype talents, then common talents, and so on and so forth. So you can pick and choose basically everything you want from the other classes and get special Exemplar talents also. This includes stuff like Critical Velocity, or Unstoppable, Eager for Battle, Pinpoint Accuracy, or Cataclysm, which is an amazing ability for AoE builds. There is so much stuff you can pick here that is just amazing that I highly advise to just pick whatever you find useful. At this point, you're going to be blasting through the game anyway. Lastly, let's talk about the equipment. Throughout the game, you will find multiple flamethrowers. At first, you're only going to find something like the Flamer or the Hand Flamethrower, but later you will be able to find Unstable Flamers or Heavy Flamers that deal even more damage. As for the Melta Gun, you'll be able to find the Melta Gun relatively early in the game, in Act 1 or 2, and then around the halfway point of Act 2, you will be able to find the Multi-Melter weapon, which is an amazing weapon. It deals a ton of damage, ignores a ton of armor, and deals a ton of AoE damage. At this point, with all the talents you have acquired, you will be able to equip this weapon, and that's going to be a go-to weapon. You will also be able to find Stabilizing Bracers, so after run and gun, you get an additional range damage bonus. You can also find the Grenadier's Backpack, which makes your allies and yourself immune versus grenades. And with this Grenadier's Backpack, you also have a chance to not spend your grenades, which deal a considerable amount of damage. But you can also find the Grenadier's Cloak early on, which has the same effect, just not the 50% chance to not expand the grenades. This one can be found in Footfall, right at the docks. For the boots, you can find Ergo Boots. Those give you additional agility and athletics. You can pick whatever. There is boots that give you free additional movement that you can find at Footfall. Those are also really good. Ergo Boots you can find on some shipwreck on a planet in a chest. So it's not a massive boost. It's only giving you 5 agility, but the 5 agility translates to 5 base dodge chance, and it increases the damage you deal with your ranged weapons. So it's kind of good on this character. The Plasma Ring can also be found, gives you a really strong plasma attack. You can also use here everything that boosts your Medicare or your Commerce or your Demolition. Doesn't really matter. For example, this one, Diagnoser, gives you 15 Medicare. For the amulet, I have not found anything that's really particularly useful, so I'm using just this one. The pendant gives you Law to Imperium, but if you find something that's boosting your damage, pick it up. Now for the armor, medium armor with as much armor as possible. The effects on this one, the Fire Blast Carapace, really good. Gives you additional armor for fire damage. It makes you immune to burning damage. Gives you 2 additional deflection versus fire damage. And additional armor versus melees. So this one is particularly perfect for this character. Gives you a ton of dodge chance, a ton of armor without the penalties because of our talents. And for the helmet, I'm currently using the Gunslinger helmet. Haven't found anything better. It's just 2% more damage because our weapons only have a fire rate of 1. So this one is 2 times 1 is 2% more damage with our ranged attacks. If you find anything better than this one, pick it up, use it. You can find the Tactical Ghouls particularly early in the game. That's 3% crit chance and 5% hit chance, but I have been using those on my sniper, so this one got the edgy helmet. Now this sums up the build guide. If you liked this video, please leave a like. Comment if you have any questions or remarks. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can also join the channel membership or leave a donation if you have the spare coin. You can also check out my Patreon. I upload some AI generated images here I use for my thumbnails. So if that interests you, take a look. So see you next time and bye.